I want to thank you for joining me. Um, this is very, very special. I'm certainly not out here tooting my own horn. I've had my grandson here today for Thanksgiving. I see him growing up all the time. He's 6. I was gonna bring a tablet out here and show his picture, but I post pictures of him on my Facebook, and we had been on his tablet. He has a tablet that he talks to some friends of his, and he communicates with them over the internet. And sometimes Papa is second priority, which is okay. That's going to happen as time goes on. But I got him off of the tablet and got him ready for bed, and he was laying in there with me, and I always sort of like to close the night with maybe some type of a Bible story. Just something, even if it ain't but just a couple of minutes, just to sort of set the tone. I had bought him a used little mower. It doesn't have a mower deck or nothing like that on it, and he's been very excited about that today. So he was in a pretty good mood. And like I say, he's getting a little bit older, so he's getting a little bit more, believe it or not, he's getting more and more like an adult. And I see it in his face. I see it in the temperament of his body, the size of him, the talking ability, the understanding ability. When you was talking to him tonight, laying on the bed, I was telling him the do's and don'ts of what to watch out for when he's driving his mower, and he calls it a tractor. And in his mind, it is a tractor. And no doubt he is very excited and very tickled that he's got something that makes a little bit of an engine sound as he's driving it around the yard. And he's done very good with it today. But as we laid down, I asked him, I says, what kind of Bible story would you want Papa to tell you? And he made a statement to me. And that's one of the reasons why I'm out here tonight. His statement was, who was the mother of God? A 6-year-old. A 6-year-old asked who the mother of God was. And I had to ask him to repeat himself because I wanted to make sure of the question. And I don't even think that he remembered exactly how he said it. So I said, you said something about a mother. And he remembered what he had asked me about who was the mother of God. And I tell you what, people, it excited me. Me laying on the bed and having a one-on-one relationship with the 6-year-old. And I was able to tell him that God didn't have a mother. I was able to remind him of the first verse of the Bible, where the Bible says, in the beginning, God. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And I kept reiterating that God had no mother. Now, when you explain that to a 6-year-old, you better get ready for some questions. And believe it or not, he was more of the listening mode for a little while. He was letting me explain to him about God. He didn't interrupt me much. I was telling him everything that God created. And what I got into was very elementary stuff. This, no doubt, is probably going to put some adults to sleep, because these are things that adults already knows. But a 6-year-old was listening to the words and some of the ideas. I told him how that God made the stars, and he made the moon, and he made the sun, and he made the trees. He made the grass. He made the oceans. He made all the animals. He made life far as mankind. He created the man and the woman. I got to the point where I was going down the line of, again, this is going to be elementary to a lot of people, and no doubt it will turn a lot of people off. He gave man 2 ears. He gave man hair. He gave man eyes and a nose and a mouth. He even mentioned that he also made my mustache. And he said, Papa, your mustache is white. I told him how that he made the arms, and I started rubbing his arms. And I told him how that God put bones into his arms. And I told him how that each finger had bones in it. And how God individually made the body in the image of God. We talked about the animals. We talked about matter of fact, he had even brought up the fact that God made the zoo. And I said, yes, Gavin, God made the zoo, meaning the animals. I was getting right down to the nitty-gritty of showing him all that God made, how that God made his legs, and God made his toes, and he made his eyes, and he made his mouth, and that God knew everything. There was nothing that God did not know. That I told him that God saw him laying there on the bed in the night. God saw him with him laying on his stomach. He raised up, and I says, Gavin, God is seeing you raise up on your stomach. He started moving his hands, and I said, yes, Gavin, God sees that you're leaning up and you're pressing your body up on your arms. It was almost like that I never saw the hour come that I would have so much understanding from a 6-year-old that started out the conversation wanting to know who the Mother of God was. It wasn't like he doesn't believe in God. He wanted to know who the Mother of God was. That told you right there that he gives indication that he might not understand as a 6-year-old, but he never gave me indication that he denied God. He never did. He never has. I've told him Bible stories when he's come out here, but tonight was just a little bit different. Tonight was special. Tonight it was almost like that I've been in elementary school with him so far, and tonight it was almost like I believe God looked down and smiled at what we was talking about. We didn't get into anything deep. You can't get into anything deep with a 6-year-old. But a 6-year-old was listening, and he was also making comments. It wasn't just me that was saying that he made this, that, and the other. It was him that was actually saying some of the things that he created. And I thought to myself, I'm listening to him, and he's also listening to me. And I believe that God counts what he hears even from a 6-year-old mind. A mind of a 6-year-old wanted to know where the Mother of God came from. I didn't go into the birth of Jesus. I didn't go into something that I felt like that he would not totally understand. But he understood about God. He understood that God had no mother. That God was God. In the beginning, God. To a 6-year-old. And I'm thinking, why is it that it is so hard for adults to simply have understanding like that 6-year-old had? The 6-year-old was absorbing everything when I told him that God made the rib cage. God made the belly button. God made the legs. He made the stomach. Some of this he was saying. He was going on and on and on, and I'm thinking, this is simply amazing that a little 6-year-old little boy would be willing to at least listen to the God that created the sunshine. He could relate to the sunshine. We was in the sunshine the day that he was riding that little lawnmower cart that I got him. He seemed to be very happy. And he seemed to listen to the instructions that I give him to make sure that he did not get near the trees and he did not turn in a very sharp turn. But to have a 6-year-old understand some of the things, I even, when he got up to go to actually his bedroom, I asked him to go in there and sit beside his Meemaw. And I said, Gavin, tell her a little bit of what we talked about. Tell her of some of the subjects that we talked about. Now, he didn't get into the depth that he went in with me because he was getting tired. I believe he was getting somewhat sleepy. But I remember what the little boy said laying on the bed after we started talking. And he really doesn't give me a whole lot of the time of day when it's time for him to go to bed. But he gave me enough to light my candle tonight. And I guess the reason I'm even out here making this message, if a 6-year-old little boy can ask such a question, to hear his papa say some things, and for his papa to hear some things that came out of his little mouth, I just thought to myself, what are we waiting on? What are we waiting on? Are we waiting on God to have to do more than he's done so far? Why is it that adults doesn't believe in the beginning God? Why is it so hard for adults to believe that God made the bones and the eyes and the nose and the mouth and the teeth and the white-haired mustache? Why is it that it's so hard for adults to listen to the fact that God put bones in the arms and bones in the chest and bones in the legs and the feet and the hands and put individual bones in the body? Why is that so difficult that we read in the Bible where God made the trees? I even went and even told him about the fact that when God made man, that God said that man was made very good. I explained to him that the trees was created by God, but that man was made very good. And he listened to that. How much he absorbed, I do not know. I know how much I absorbed. I didn't see this night coming the way it did. But to listen to a little innocent 6-year-old little boy that was listening to me just for a little bit, and for him to have additional information, one of the things I remember him saying to me was he wanted to get my attention. And he wanted to talk a little bit. He waited for me, and then I waited for him because he was going to give me something else. You know what he said out of a 6-year-old's mouth? God also give man a brain. He give man a brain. And you know what? A lot of men ain't even using the brains that God give them today. that man is not using the brain that God gave man to use today. And yet this little 6-year-old boy made the comment that God gave man a brain to think with, but yet many people don't use their brain. They don't even think about the fact that God has created the air that is in our body, the oxygen that we exhale, the carbon dioxide that we exhale, the vision that we have, the breathing that we have, the teeth that we have, the nerve endings that we have. All of the things in our body, things that we would not even think that was very important to God. I told him how that God made the grass. He was getting tired. And I've learned that when he gets tired and he's ready for sleep, I let him go to sleep. And here's the thing, I've got the next 3 days to have him around to hopefully maybe shut my mouth and allow him to talk to me and to be able to listen to what that boy has to say. He's the one that started it. Oh, I might have started the subject matter, but he was the one that added to it. I'm the one that told him that in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And I started listing all of the things that I could think of that God made. And for him to see my mustache in the middle of the darkness of night in my bedroom was amazing. I'm telling you today, people, God is good and he's on time. He created the use of a cross to put his son on that cross and allow the soldiers to nail nails into his hands and feet. Now see, that little boy wouldn't understand that right now. But I believe that in time, he may. This was his conversation. This was not me feeding into him what I wanted to hear. This is what come out of his own mouth. And I thank God for it. I thank God for it. Why is it that adults are no more smarter than a little 6-year-old child? Something to think about. If you decide you want to get a hold of me, elderlyministry.com is the website. You can leave your name and phone number there. Leave a message. You got to leave a message in order for me to know to call you back. If you want to go to YouTube Direct, you can find it there on Elderly Ministry at the middle of the page. There's a big link that will send you to YouTube. This is the YouTube channel right here. You can write this down and go to YouTube directly and get a hold of me there. You can text me, phone me. Just leave a message when you do, and I'll be glad to get back with you. I'm thankful tonight for a little 6-year-old little boy that reminded me of God and all that he created. I thank y'all for watching.